a myriad of things. So I think first of all, we have to go back to writer. You are very well known for your teaching skills. Your students are speaking
Thank you very much. Nice to have you.
Oh, nice to meet you as well.
This is, they say gold is beautiful. When gold combines with black, it's always something lovely.
Really?
Yes.
Now, I mean, my color is gold anyway, you know.
You have a lovely place.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you. Thank you.
Walking in here,
Yes.
I saw flax, and then I'm seeing flax here. Is it, it's not normal in sitting room.
Well, you know, this is telling you there is a future. See, when this is America, you know, I'm an American citizen. You know, I have dual citizenship. It's America, this is Nigeria. But when you're looking at the flags and you see how they're situated, you know, or seated, you will know that this is the future. That I represent the future. And I'm trying to represent the future for the younger ones. So this means that I'm still going somewhere.
It's good to have you right back in the show. We're just about to start, and you've seen a bit of my guest, but I didn't tell you her name. She is one woman that is globally recognized for a lot of things, and I want to single out maybe possibly just two for now. The humanitarianism in her, and of course the entrepreneurial acumen which she has. A whole lot. I'll get to unfold all of that as we go. But join me as I say hello, welcome to the show to Dr. Chief Chetachi Nwoga Ecton.
Thank you. Welcome, my dear.
You know, I was looking around the place before you came, and I saw a particular picture. This little girl that keeps staring at me, and I was told she's granddaughter.
Yes.
So I expected a very old woman. What happened?
I think I'm old, but
That's what you think?
Yes, that's what I think. But my children will look at me, they'll say, "No, mommy, you're just playing old. You're not old." You know.
You know, you're.
I guess it's because of all the hardships and what I have gone through in my life, you know. And at this particular age, I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I have gone through life, and there is nothing else left." So I feel like, you know, I'm old. But
You're
I'm
just-
actually, you know.
You're not there yet. You're just what we described, a babe. All right. Now, you have made a hint at what I actually wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Your story hits me, you know, hard in the face. Your humble beginning. You've been able to achieve so much, but I'm still particularly interested in how it all started.
And you know, this is like a part of myself that I don't really like to talk about so much, but I have to. I was born and raised in Owerri, Imo State, and I was a special child. I was a premature baby.
Premature.
I was premature. I was born at 7 months old, and they didn't think I would make it. Actually, they told my parents to go home and bury me, that I'm actually
Wow.
a dead child. But my mother refused. You know, I have a very prayerful mom. And the story was that she prayed and prayed and prayed, and, you know, you will say God listened or heard her prayers, and I took a breath. And that started my beginning of life. And as a little child, they knew I was special. I didn't know I was special, but they knew I was special. And to tell you how special I was a giving child. I mean, whatever I had, I would give.
Oh, okay.
Even to, you know, mad people, they will come to me. No mad person saw me, or I ran away, They usually
really?
grab
You were
it.
not
Yes,
scared?
No. They will actually come to me. I will give them food. I will give them whatever I had. But my parents also recognized one thing else, that I'm actually good in business, you know, and I'm also good at politics. Because at age 5 or at age 6, I was already following Nigerian politics at that age. Yeah.
5, 6?
Yeah, because
I was playing in the gutter.
because my parents, especially my mom, you know, they were into politics also. You know, let me tell you a story. And I remember this story very, very well. My parents, they had a hotel, Premier Guest House, and I think I was age probably age 6 then. And my dad, he would take me to the hotel, and I would see them playing the slot machines,
Okay.
and I'll be watching, playing the slot machines. So one day, I went to my father's room, and I took 100 naira. Then 100 naira was like huge
It was
money.
big
then,
money.
big money. So I went and bought this toy, and I wanted the toy, like the slot machines. So I started playing with the other kids, and I was winning. So it was a part of me making money. And they had a chemist shop. So they decided to put me in the chemist shop, they thought I would be a doctor, so they put me there. And I was able to learn much more about medicine as a young child. And I remember my uncle, one of my mom's younger brother, came, and he brought a whole big box of vitamins. And he told me exactly how much to sell the vitamins. So being a special child and person that likes to make money, I counted all the vitamins, and I actually made 3 times of what
he asked you to make.
Yes. So I gave him his own, and I took my own
took your
share.
own back. There's no
That's
kid
it.
in here.
Yes.
All of us are minding our business. Yes.
Yes. So after high school, they decided that they would send me to United States. And while then growing up, I would see magazines, and I thought that United States bed of roses,
A big dollar on the road, yes.
Yes, of course. So when I got to United States, I got a real culture shock of my life. It wasn't the same anymore. But then I had to choose. I had to choose which way to go. Would I just go the straight way and figure out how to live better life? Or would I just follow the other way? So I decided to follow the right way. And the right way was the hard way, to struggle. So at 17 years old, I was a different person. I hated that period of my life. I was so young. I was taken away from the life that I knew, left alone somewhere else. My accent was so deep. I couldn't make out anything, And I was the youngest of all the students in Bishop College, Dallas, Texas. They made so much fun of me there. They will call me all kinds of names, They will say, but, you guys, you live in the tree. What are you doing here? We heard that Africans live in trees like monkeys. What are you doing here? And I remember one day in the classroom, after the class was over, he approached me and he said, where is your tail?
Wow, for real?
Yes.
Expecting that you're a monkey?
Of course. And I said, my tail. Well, it was cut off. And then he said, well, how about the trees, your house in the trees? I said, that's, the American ambassador, right? They all live, all you Americans in Nigeria live in the same tree that we all live in.
Oh, it's quite smart.
And then I remember one asking me, how long did it take you to swim from Africa to America?
For real?
Yes, it was hell for me, but I knew that I have to stay calm. I didn't want to get into any trouble. At that time, a lot of Nigerians in Texas were getting into trouble. So I decided maybe it was time for me now to move around. But at that particular time, I was very angry at my parents. I couldn't understand why they took me away from my home. And I figured out, well, I can go to work. But I didn't have any papers. In America, you have to have papers to work. I didn't have any papers, that I had to work.
So how did you survive that?
Yeah, I had to, I'm sorry to say this, I had to get some kind of papers to work. And so I became someone else, but I was someone else, but I had to work, So I started working at McDonald's. So I figured out that, wow, so I was making, I think it was $1.98 then. But I figured out that if I can work extra hours, I'll make more money. So I was working more hours, and then I'll go to school, and then I'll come back and I'll work. So when I didn't have money to pay for school fees, I worked more, So I said, you know what, making money will help me in the United States. And if I'm able to save enough money, I will live a better life, you understand? So I was working 14, 15, 16 hours daily to make a little bit of money. And by then I was in a community college and I had to pay. There was no job I didn't do. I drove a cab. I sold ice cream. I drove ice cream trucks. I sold ice cream. I was a, housekeeper. And I remember these people that hired me living housekeeping, and so they asked me to cook. They asked me if I knew how to cook. I said, yes, I knew how to cook. So, so one evening, they were going out, the whole family were going out, and they asked me to cook. So they asked me to make spaghetti. Spaghetti and sauce. I didn't know how to make that. I'm telling you honestly. So I remember jollof rice. So I made the spaghetti and jollof rice. So the family came back and, I served them dinner and they looked at what I made, they just ordered pizza. And that was the end of the job for me right there, But I continued as a housekeeper until one day I was going to work and I met a young man. And he was so bold and he just stopped me and asked me, what's your name? I told him my name and I told him his name. He said, but where are you going to? I said, I'm going to work. He said, what kind of job are you doing? I said, I'm a housekeeper. I clean homes. And he said, really? I said, but why do you clean homes? I said, because I don't have papers. I have to clean homes. I don't have papers. He said, really? But do you go to school? I said, yes, community college. But I stopped, but I would like to go back. But I don't have money. I don't have paper. I have to work. And I looked up at him and I said, well, do you have a green card? He said, yes. I said, well, will you give me a green card? He said, yes, he will do that. And so he said yes, and we got married. Yes, I got married to him, and we had 3 kids, but it was a very, very abusive marriage. I was beaten every day of my life. I remember the first beating, and it never stopped. And so if the house wasn't clean enough, that's a beating right there for me. If I didn't cook well, that was another beating for me. I had to learn how to cook Jamaican foods and this and all that stuff. Is it Jamaican? Yeah. But he beat the heck out of me. There was no day that wasn't a beating. I had bruises everywhere. I mean, yes, I have lipstick on, but if you look there, you will see some scars. I have scars, from the beatings the man gave me.
How did you survive that till you made 3 children?
I was still trying to get that green card. It was not, because I was
That's
beaten.
quite a high price to pay for a green card,
Yeah.
seriously.
So,
because you could have just died out of it.
yes, so I decided one day to call my parents. My mom, I told her what I was going through. Did you know what she said to me? She said, this is not the Chetachi I raised. As soon as she said that, it was like something snapped. So when I had my last daughter, that day my water broke and I asked him to take me to the hospital. But I can go back and tell you how I had my son. The day I had my son, I was beaten. And I passed out. My water broke, and I couldn't, at that time I didn't know what was going on. Finally, a few days when I got to the hospital, they said that I'm lucky that my water broke for how many days, and this child has been
The amniotic fluid is dried up. The womb is dried up.
So my son was born with asthma, a whole bunch of stuff, He swallowed a lot of the liquid, but and we came back, and I needed that green card. I had to stay for the green card. I needed the green card so bad. So I stayed, and apart from the abuse was him not giving me enough money for food. So most of the time I didn't have enough to eat and my son,
It's a sad story.
Yeah. So I had my daughter, my princess, Chinyere. And then it got worse. The beating got worse. When the paper came for him to sign for my green card, he looked at the paper, he said, I won't sign it. You know what I said? I said, okay, you don't have to sign it, don't worry. But then, right here in my head, I started collecting evidence of all the abuse. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I said, listen, if this man is abusing me every day, I'm going to the hospital, I'm doing all this stuff, I have to collect all kinds of evidence in case anything happens. About 2 months or 3 months down the line, I asked him to help me one morning to take my son to school. He said no. I said, why? I said, I'm watching the 2 kids take the boy to school. The school is only maybe 2 or 3 blocks down the street. He refused, and he gave me the biggest beating of my life.
A nursing mom?
I passed out. And when I got up, I put my daughter Chinyere in a stroller, carried my daughter, the baby here, held my son, and I looked at him and I said, I'm leaving. He said, well, you will come back anyway. You don't have anywhere to go. I said, okay, you sit right there. I'll be right back. And I left, took my kids, and we ended up in a homeless shelter. Then I promised my 3 kids that we're not going to be here for long. And then I started working at the shelter, and from there, the business, that business that, how I was raised up making money. I said, I can, if I do
a bit of hawking?
Yes, if I do double shifts, I started making money, and I was making more money than the directors themselves, So I had only $80, only $80. So I went to 52nd Street. It's 52nd Street in Philadelphia. It was a big vending street, So I met a man and I asked him, I said, can you help me? He took me to a wholesale place. All I could buy was just berets, to do children's hair. And from that, I doubled the money. But I went from selling berets to socks, from selling socks to anything you can think of. By the time you knew it, my tables were just larger and bigger than any other vendor on 52nd Street, because I was a go-getter.
Now, I sat down and listened to the story. At a point, I want to actually shed tears, but I also remember that I'm on TV, so I take it all back. But then I noticed something, the resilience in you. It's amazing. That feeling of never giving up, it's amazing. You have been able to overcome it, and beyond that, you've been able to set up things. What connected me to you was your charity, your humanitarian arts, especially with your foundation when in need. A lot of people will go through this and lock up for others. Why have you opened your door for others?
I made a promise that if anything changes for me, that I am going to give back. It really doesn't matter how much, I must give back. So I started giving back even before I started the foundation. So I tell people that giving back started before the foundation.
Now, being in the commercial world, business world, a lot of times men assume it's their world. And just like you said, they try to take it away from you, but you say, I ain't going nowhere. So how have you been able to survive in a man's world?
Well, you see, this child here, remember I told you that I'm a
It's a
special child, you know. When I started my first company, I didn't know I wanted to be a vendor, like a contractor for the state, a vendor. So when I went there, instead of giving me that as a vendor, they said, no, you become a contractor for us. I said, wow. And by then, I'm number 3 in line, you know. Wow, me, a contractor for
the state.
For the state? It
What state was that?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
It was really overwhelming, but I was also happy. So what happened was, I decided that since it's a man's world, what I would do for the first maybe 2 years or so, I will hide myself so that they will not know who owns the company. I had a PA, and I have a public relation, person, manager or director. So I would let him go to all the meetings. One day there was a meeting, and I went to the meeting, and I introduced myself, and everybody looked at me like,
who is this? Where's she coming from?
I didn't even make it back to Philadelphia. Offers started coming in everywhere for me to sell my company. I said, I'm not selling this company. I said, if offers are coming in for me to sell, that means that there is something in here for me. I'm like, I'm not selling.
And you advertised to sell?
I said, no, I'm not selling. I didn't go through all this hard work and all this, hard time for me to give this up. I said, no.
Let's share some of your, philanthropy.
Yes.
Especially the ones in the north. I read about some in Nasarawa, and then somebody also told me of a few things you're doing in Kaduna and all of that.
We have done medical missions all over, just not only in Nigeria. We've done, where in Imo State, we have done several medical missions. I've even one time brought one of the U.S. city senators down here to witness our medical missions, to see how it goes. And one thing about my foundation is that it's self-funded. But one thing is that after each medical mission, I'm never a happy person,
Why?
because I know that,
you get
when
to
I
see
leave,
a lot of people.
Yes, when I leave and the medicine that I give them, when the medicine finishes, what happens to them, what happens afterwards. I opened a medical hospital here to continue the medical missions, the work. So I think next month we'll have our first medical mission in the hospital. Yes. And we're giving back to people,
And we're not going to have to pay a whole lot to.
No. This is no. In my hospital, I'm telling you this. I'm very honest with this. If you come to the hospital, you don't have money. Yes, you will be treated. All they have to do is just give me the bill I pay. I can tell you so far how many bills I have paid. So if you come to my hospital, you don't have money, you will be treated. If you don't have money for labs, you'll be treated. If you don't even have money I'm telling you, my hospital is just like that. But if you have money to pay, you can pay. However, if you don't have money to pay, you'll be treated.
But I want to ask, what's your take on women in politics?
I think women should get involved more in politics. I think, we have to break, that barrier, that gender barrier right there. I think women should get more involved in politics. Listen, if we can take care of the homes, take care of businesses, know how to, run our own businesses, and then take care of the children and make sure, why can't we be a decision maker in politics or in government? Why not?
All right, that said, and me looking at you, without saying it in the open, I'm going to have to drag you into politics sometime soon. Don't say anything yet. Just me going to drag you into politics sometime soon. I have been looking around and I see a lot of beautiful pictures, and I'm wondering what's her part-time. They are all, you take your time to... The pictures are more like the human beings are carved, sculpted on the canvas, Are there stories? You like a lot of pictures and all of that?
Every picture here, it has stories, I have stories. I mean, I can tell you when I took that picture. I can tell you where I was. Where they have every picture here have stories. Like that one was when they made me Treham of Jabaland in southern Kaduna. I want to have a kind of gallery, so that my children, just not my children, but my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren, even when I'm no longer here, they will know who,
you were,
yes,
and what you represented,
and
more like
and where they
creating
came,
history
exactly.
on pictures.
Yes.
What do you do for relaxation?
I have to be very honest with you. I don't know what that is. I don't know what relaxation means. All I know is work and helping those in need. That's all I know.
There are a lot of single mothers. Some of them are trying to, lose hope. I'd like you to look at the camera and just share a word to them.
No, please, do not give up. If I gave up, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have the 3 wonderful children that I have, very humbly children. Even if it means selling granite, selling banana, whatever you can do out there to make money, do it. But don't give up, because when you give up, you're giving up on life. Be a victor.
All right, that's it. So remain a victor. And I want to end in the words of Nas, the song he sang. He said, I know I can be where I want to be. If I work at it, then I'll be whatever I want to be. And that's how it should be. Whatever you desire to be, it's your game, it's your choice. Take a step. If you can't run, you definitely can work. If you can't walk, please crawl if you must. Somehow, all of us will get to the destination. It's a question of focus. Keep your eyes on the ball.